I have always been a believer that everything in life happens for a reason. And that still holds true for this case. I have thought about how to record this video so many different times, and I feel like I just need to sit down and do it. So if you are brand new to my channel, hi, my name is Bridget Spackman. I was a former multi-age teacher. Ooh, that kind of stings a little bit. And in this video, I'm going to kind of share why I resigned, because that's most likely why you clicked on this video. I feel as though I have had this going on since the beginning of March. And it is July. It's the beginning of July. So this has been happening for a very, very long time. I've been a roller coaster of emotions. And so if you've been watching my videos for a little bit, you might have seen, some things that just didn't quite make sense. And all of it's going to be explained in this video. So hopefully, grab your coffee, grab your tea, whatever it might be, find a little cozy spot, put in your ear pods, and let's just chat for a little bit about why I have resigned as a multi-age teacher in central Pennsylvania. Before I kind of share my future plans with everyone, I want to explain everything that happened, because I'm going to be very honest with you. I never wanted to resign. I didn't want to leave my position. I genuinely loved my school. I loved my partners. I loved the teachers. I loved the district. And I just always felt like this was it. This is where I was meant to be. I was going to stay there forever and ever and ever and never really leave and do anything else. Because I really, really loved and I believed in what I was doing. So, if you are previous followers, then you know that I have recently gotten my master's degree with Capella University. Now, this is nothing to do with Capella University. This is not anything to do about the program itself. It has nothing to do with my master's degree, the validity of my master's degree, none of that. This has everything to do with protocols and process and not taking care of the people who work their tail feathers off for you, and just kind of working outside of the books for once. That is what this is all about. Okay, so I got my master's degree at the end of February 2022, and I decided that I was going to go ahead and get the process done for getting my next pay scale. So in the state of Pennsylvania, or at least the schools that I kind of work with, you basically are encouraged to get your master's degree because you're about three classes away after you get your tier 2 certification. So there's two different tiers. The first tier, to have your certificate for the state of PA, is like a bachelor's degree, and you have to have so many years of experience. And then after that, that only lasts for like 5 or 6 years, and then you have to get a tier 2 or level 2 cert. And this level 2 cert, it lasts forever after this. But you have to have 24 credit hours to be able to meet that requirement. So at the same time, schools are like, well, we'll pay you the master's degree if you go the extra 3 classes and you get a bigger pay jump. And I will tell you, it is a significant pay jump where I live. We're talking like $10,000 to $15,000 pay difference every year when it comes to moving from your bachelor's to your master's. So it's a huge, significant increase. And so I say significant. I mean, to me, it's huge, but to others, it might not be that way. But to me, it is. So I decided that at the beginning of March, all right, I'm going to go ahead and get all of it done. That way it's not on my plate. I know for a fact that I'm not going to be able to get my pay increase until like August, September, because that's just the way they work. They'll send you out a new contract, you sign it, that kind of thing. So I just figured it would be nice to get it all done. I sent in all the paperwork that I needed. And I had been in communications with like HR, and I said, what do I need? And I sent it all into them, and I get an email back saying, can you call me? And this is like an assistant to our HR lady. And so I called her, and she's like, we have a problem. And I said, okay. And she said, you violated contract, essentially. And I said, well, how did I violate contract? Apparently, I was supposed to be filling out a form that required me to get approval for each of my classes, even though I'm not asking for reimbursement. So, kind of backing up to this piece, another element of, part of what some schools will do around here is that because you do have to get so many classes to get your next level of your certification, they will pay for a percentage of your class. So my now old district paid like 90% of it. And you had to complete reimbursement forms. Now I know this because before I started Capella, I had taken 3 other classes at a different university to start that process. And then, I joined Capella. Capella was completely paid for. It was a sponsorship. And so basically I was enrolled like I was on scholarship. So I didn't have to pay a single thing. And so obviously when most people consider that form in my school, they consider it a reimbursement form. Now it doesn't have a name on it. There's no title on it that says reimbursement form, but there's also no title on it that says approval form. And so it was never communicated that I needed to go through approval. Now, I'm definitely going to say that I was at fault. I should have asked. But then it always goes back to, but you don't know what to ask when you don't know the questions, right? If you are not really sure, you don't really know the right questions to be asking. And that was basically what was happening in this case. So I talked to her and she's like, you violated contract. You might not end up getting your pay increase because you didn't get approval. And then she tells me that I can go ahead and fill out the forms and then I can send it in and we'll see. Now, this was communicated by like my superintendent. So I had sent in the forms and it went like silent for like a month. I heard nothing. So I went through all the hoops, and obviously there's way more to this story than I feel like I'm sharing with you guys. If I ended up sharing every single little detail, we'd be here a good 2 or 3 hours. So there were more things that happened, but it went silent for a good month. And then I remember being sick, and I remember contacting and asking like, what's going on? Where are we at with this process? And you can imagine that I've been a hot mess for the entire month of March because they're telling me I violated contract. They're telling me that I should have done the things that I had no idea that I needed to do, nor did anyone else, by the way. I just want to point that out too. The majority of people I talked to in that school, whether it was administration, other teachers, had no idea that I needed to be filling out that form just for a scholarship. And I will be honest too, I even read that, like our contract, like our teacher contract, I read it front, back, side to side, had so many other people look at it, and nowhere in that contract could I find that I violated anything. So a month goes by, I contact them, and they're like, yep, let's set up a meeting, like a phone meeting. So I set up a phone meeting, which was like for 2 weeks from that email contact. And then it comes to the 2 weeks. It's during my special time. So I'm a nervous wreck the entire time because I don't know what they're going to tell me. And I remember going back into my classroom, putting a sign on my door, making that phone call. And the assistant's like, she's not in her office. She's still meeting with the superintendent. Can I, have her call you back? And so I said, yep, that's fine. And so I hung up. I waited for like 20 minutes. And then I'm like, okay, I am going to have to go pick up my kids in like 5 or 10 minutes. Like I need to call again. So I called back and it was like, oh, sorry, caught up with something else. She had other things. We're going to have to, reschedule. And so I told her, I said, I'm starting class. I'm not going to have her be able to call me back now. Like, I don't know what else to do. So she ends up sending me, the HR lady sends me an email later on that evening, apologizing for what happened. And then telling me if we could reschedule. Now, the reschedule was for another week. So I was going to have to wait another week for an answer, for something. I just wanted a little bit of information because I'm just a nervous wreck. I feel like I'm not gonna be able to stay where I am, and it's a hot mess. So I sent her an email back, and I was very, very polite. I said, absolutely, I'm happy to do this, next date during the same time. I was like, however, I have been a nervous wreck about the whole situation. Is there anything you can tell me before going into this long weekend? I think it was our spring break or something like that. So we had 4 days off. And she sends me an email back telling me that I don't understand the gravity of the situation, nor do I understand what all goes into being able to give her an answer. I just bawled. I felt like I had, and I'm going to try really hard not to cry right now. I felt like I had given so much of myself in the past 6 years that I had been with this school. I worked. I never complained about the hours that I worked. I felt like I went above and beyond in every area. And I was super positive, supportive. I did the things that everybody asked me to do without complaining like some people do. And here I am getting a master's degree in which they don't have to pay for. They never had to pay for it. I got a complete scholarship, so it saved the district money in the long run. And they're telling me that I don't understand the gravity. Okay, so after that time, I kind of looked at my husband and I said, I feel like I need to start looking. And I think it was that day that I started applying to other school districts in my area. So I waited the week and I talked to her, and I took notes because, y'all, let me tell you, I couldn't get a word in. Basically, that phone call went with her talking for about 3 minutes straight, telling me that I violated contract, that she doesn't have to look at it until September, that I am at the bottom of her priority right now, that she has other things to do because of the end of the school year, and that, she now has to do all this other work, and that basically she didn't even give me an answer then. And then she tells me, that I violated and that I should have gone to administration or HR about it. And that she doesn't know, she doesn't care that the school that I went to is accredited, nor the fact that the state of Pennsylvania accepted it for my level 2 certification. She goes, it doesn't matter because they have a certain process, and that I should have noticed that on that form, there was a sentence on there that said for approval only, when I've only ever known it as an approval, as a reimbursement form. And then, it was just a bunch of other things. And so at the end of it, she says, do you have any other questions? And I just kind of remember shaking my head and just saying, no, I think you pretty much just covered it all. I said, there's nothing else that I have at this time. And I was done. I hung that phone up. I bawled my eyes out again, and I was done. I had talked to my administration about it. I had gone to other people about it. And I felt like no one was there to help give me an answer. And so when they didn't want to give me my answer, I told them, then I have no other choice than to start looking. Because if I can't have an answer right now, who's to say that in September, if I was to stay, that you guys wouldn't come back to me and say, nope, we're not going to approve it. And so here I'm going to be a master in education, and I'm going to not have the pay that I deserve. And I have worked hard, and I'm going to be bitter, and I'm going to be angry, and I'm going to be miserable. Why should I stay? Why should I stay for a maybe? Why should I stay for we think you're going to get it? I think is not good enough. It's not. I am better than that. And if they can't recognize that I am better than that, then I needed to leave. So I went through the entire process. Um, I interviewed at a couple different places. So I think I had like two for sure interviews. I had one that called like right when I had gotten the position that I'm about to tell you about. Um, and I didn't get one of the positions, which is fine. I think, again, goes back to the beginning of, I think everything in life happens for a reason. And I got a position as a fourth grade ELA and social studies teacher um, in the district that my mother-in-law lives in. So it's very close. I mean, technically, I doubled my drive from my previous school. And by doubled, I mean like I work like 12 minutes away. It's like a 12-minute drive for me. So it went from like a 6-minute to a 12-minute drive. But it's a beautiful school. It's a great district. It's actually the district that my husband graduated from, which is kind of cute. And yeah, so that's currently my situation. So I wanted to show you guys where all my stuff is. I feel as though right at the very end, I told myself, okay, I am not going to come back. I'm not going to come back over the summer. So I made the choice of, and I didn't have a job yet at that moment, but I made the choice of packing up my classroom. I said, I'm going to be done. It's going to be packed because I'm going to find another job. And I said, and if they come back to me, at the beginning of June and they say, hey, we're going to give it to you. We're going to have you stay. It's like official, then I'll stay, but right now I feel like this is in some way, this is God's way of saying, you know what, Bridget, it's time for you to move on. It's time for you to go somewhere else. And that's what I'm doing. So it's a new chapter, guys. Let's go and take a look at all my stuff. So this is my mother-in-law's cottage. It's just a little 1-bedroom. There's like a loft area upstairs, and she has an attached garage here. So in that garage, they were very kind. And they let me keep all my stuff there. So let's go in and take a look. So here is my classroom. So this is the garage area. And this is my room at the moment. I don't know if everything is going to end up going into my new classroom. I will tell you that I have seen my new classroom. It's really, really sweet. It has like a light bluish, grayish color on one wall. It's like a creamy color on another wall. It is a newer school, so it's not as old as my previous school. So it has more of kind of the muted, just kind of calming tones, which I'm very, very excited about. I went and took a little tour of that school. I took a tour of my classroom. It is officially official. I was board approved while I was on vacation in Houston. And yeah, so new chapter, and I'm excited to be able to take you guys on this journey. I will tell you that there are a lot of things that are very different that I have never experienced as we're going into like this new district. I have a picture, like I have an idea of what my schedule's like. I have a team partner who teaches math and science, so I'm ELA and social studies. And yeah, it's just going to be a little bit different, which I'm excited about. Like I'm finally allowing myself to be excited about it, even though I'm still heartbroken. And I will be honest, like I told my families, I sent an email out to them before I put my resignation in, just letting them know that I was leaving and, to contact me through Facebook or Instagram or whatever it is so that I can watch their kids grow up. And I'm heartbroken at the sense that I'm not doing a multi-age. Like I genuinely believe in multi-age. I believe in what we were doing, and it breaks my heart. But at the end of the day, it's really hard when you don't feel as though people care about you. Like you have to care about your people. And I felt like they were more concerned about the people who were leaving than they were concerned about keeping the people who wanted to stay. And I think that's part of like the whole system. It's part of the whole process and having to follow all these stupid rules. Like it's just dumb that they had to wait until September. And so it is what it is. It is what it is. But yeah, so I will be sharing some content. I'm going to do an empty classroom tour of my classroom before I start throwing all my stuff in it. And I'm going to be changing a couple things. Like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep the stage just because it's really, really big, but my father-in-law said that he might be able to chop it in half to make it a little bit smaller because my room is not super huge. So that's it. And that's kind of my story of why I had to resign. Never wanted to. I will sincerely miss the families and the people at that school, but they know they can always contact me. I am literally a phone call away if they need me. And I'm just looking forward to this new adventure. So I'm going to be taking you guys along with me as I'm getting used to a different place. It is going to be very interesting. I've never taught ELA in social studies, so that's going to be a new one. Now, I've taught them individually as fourth grade. I've taught fourth grade before. But being an ELA and social studies teacher, I've never done that. So if you are an ELA social studies teacher, I would love some advice, input. How are you doing it? How are you putting in, incorporating all of the different elements you have to incorporate? I have an idea of my schedule, but we have specials at different times every single day. So we run on a 6-day cycle, which I'm used to cycle days. But every day there is a different special time. And so it'll be very interesting as I start to kind of curate our schedule and what that's going to look like in order to kind of meet all the needs of our kids. So we will see. I'm excited, nervous, excited, all the things. If you have any questions for me, leave them down in the comment section below. I am curious because I was talking with Michelle from Pocketful of Primary, and she had mentioned that a lot of people will ask her about demo lessons. So I've done now 3 demo lessons in my career of teaching. The first one when I got my job at the previous school that I've been at. I did a second demo lesson, which honestly it didn't go well. I don't think I was feeling the best during that time. And it just, again, everything happens for a reason. I think it worked out for the best because I have the position that I'm in now. So I did a second demo lesson, and then I did a third one for the position that I currently have. And they were all a little bit different. So I'm curious, would you be interested in a kind of a walkthrough with maybe some of my best tips for how to, do a demo lesson for wherever you are? I think this is something that's becoming more of a common practice with a lot of schools, which I find very interesting. But I've done 3 of them. Every single one was a little bit different, but I enjoyed the process of kind of learning about it all. And if you have just kind of general questions of, me leaving, me looking for another job while also teaching in the same kind of area, because I'm very close to where I haven't moved. I'm very close to where I was. Drop those down in the comments. I'll be answering some of those, and then maybe I'll even compile a video for that. But that is it. The cat is out of the bag, guys. I feel like I've been keeping this from you for a very, very long time. And let's kind of look at this as a new adventure together here. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed kind of hearing the process of all of this and the story behind why I had to resign. And I will catch you all next time. Bye.